problem. You guys are so you guys are actually what our second host on the show that we have going on. So this week, as we've been going on, you guys talking about turning points in life and different things. If you guys was here for the last show, you seen how good we got it. So this show we kind of switched it up, brought on guests. My other two co-hosts is not here. Everybody, please say prayers for Jennifer's grandmother. She's in the hospital, and AC is out there doing great things with his father today, so he wasn't able to make it. So shout out to him. So today we got three guests on here to talk about different things in life that they went through, and to kind of talk about the things that we went over last show. So just real quick, I'm gonna start it off a little bit different this show. Play just a few little clips I seen that I just seen throughout the week on social media that I feel like is kind of dope and kind of good.
Trying to get away from the tough streets of Oakland. Exactly, Oakland, California. So what happened when you moved in? I moved in with my uncle and my aunt, and like our relationship was fine up to like June. Or one morning he busted in my room, talking about busted open the door, talking about turn the music down or something. The music was real low. Asked me, I said, excuse me, you could have knocked. He said, I could have knocked. He said, this is my house. I don't have to knock about nothing. Booty went and grabbed the big stick that he used to beat the dogs with and put it. It was like, Your Honor, that is a lie. He was running around between 6 and 7 a.m. Keep running in and out of my bedroom talking about, I'm too tired. I don't want to go to work. My sickle cell is acting up. I can't go over. Sickle cell, did he? But he goes out he went out every night. And I don't even want to talk to you, man. You disrespectful. Yeah. How many times I told you the number one rule, no man is a bigger man than me in my house. And I said, you open your mouth again, we can take it outside. Your Honor, I know right then and there. Your Honor, that's the truth. This dude is crazy. He threw a knife at me. That's not crazy. That's defending my house. You would have. I'm your nephew, man. You're not nothing to me. I understand that now. I understand that now, Tony. I understand I'm not nothing now because you hurt my feelings. I get no more of this. Hand me a piece of tissue, man. Did this damn young man move from the streets of Oakland to escape the gangs, plead out to you for help? You let him move in there, knowing what he done went through all his life. He running from the street gangs. How many young people run from the street gangs and try and escape? None. Most of them stay there and try and survive and kill each other or destroy themselves. He got sickle cell anemia, no parents. And yeah, I'm crying because I see myself in it. There's one thing to give a young man tough love, but where's the love? All I hear is toughness. That's the truth. This dude is crazy.
All right, so that right there was the clip from Judge Joe Brown's show. I seen that clip a few times, and listening to it. The first time I listened to it, I didn't even listen to it all the way. I just kind of clicked off of it, kept going. But once I finally did listen to it, and I finally did hear what he was saying, that right there hit deep. And I think that's even something special right now, even with the current event that's going on with Nipsey Hussle. And I just feel like that's a powerful clip because just to see a young man like that who's trying to do better, who's trying to get away from the gangs, who's trying to get away from a worse environment, and he moves in with family, but for his family to kind of, when he gets there, to kind of push him out and kind of like tough love. I know last show AC mentioned that a lot about about black men, that we never get shown true love, we get shown tough love, and we never get the love that we kind of need. So to see that clip and also like to see his uncle say you're nothing to me, and just as family alone, family, friends, and friends and family. I think people play a big part in our lives that people sometimes don't even know. So like that uncle was just trying to defend his household. But at what point is it worth giving up your nephew? His nephew could have easily got discouraged and moved back and started gang banging or do anything to mess up his life. But instead, he's trying to work through it and trying to become better. But somebody, his blood, his family, who thought, I'm trying to get out of something, no parents, nowhere to go, but I'm coming to you for help, but you're not doing anything.
Well, the question is, what is he defending?
Closer to your microphone.
What is he defending the house from? Like, what's the threat? You know what I mean?
I
think that's a good point because really from the clip you could have about 12 different conversations. But to your point, I think that's the struggle, especially with men. It's not about the house or the things; it's the manhood. Like everyone wants to be the boss. That's we talk about Damon Dash and that whole thing about him talking about why did Jesus get crucified? Because he was surrounded by a bunch of men, and how when you're dealing with a bunch of men, everybody wants to be the boss. And so he saw the young man probably as a threat to his own manhood. And that's how he feels important, is that I run it, I am the head, and then that's where his manhood is rooted in that. Obviously, and he felt as though that was threatened.
I don't even think that's his manhood, though. I think him not necessarily saying I got to defend my household against my own nephew, or to show you who's boss. To me, is his ego versus where he should be showing his love at. Yeah. You don't have nothing to fight. I mean, you don't have to argue with your nephew. You don't have to show him who's the boss. He came to you for help. Why is it an argument there? Why is it any type of diversity between those two? Why is it any type of fighting right there?
Because he didn't want to do it in the first place.
And the fact that that's just how we are. Me and Dave briefly had this conversation before, but that's how we are raised to raise our children. We're raised them. If you don't do what I say, you get punishment. You don't get love. Either you're obedient and you get good, because if you disobey, you get punishment. And that's how we are taught perpetually, generation after generation, that's how you rear your kid. That's how you show your kids right and wrong, is either you do what I say or you get immediate punishment. And we don't, and the balance between discipline and love, to me, is just off completely.
I definitely agree to that. But I mean, because I definitely was raised like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do good, you get good. You do wrong, you get wrong.
Yep.
But I still had the option to run to versus whether it was my parents and I didn't want to listen. I'm going to my grandparents. I'm going to my grandpa. I'm going to my granny. Somebody, my auntie, my uncle.
Yep. And the uncle probably didn't even think he was doing nothing wrong. He stood flat-footed and said, absolutely, I did the right thing, and he was out of order because he probably has not seen anything different himself.
Yeah, it's kind of like that generational, it's kind of like that generational curse that kind of goes on, especially.
But you have to question, what did this little boy do in his house to bring him to such fury? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I have seen these kids really out of pocket. You know what I mean? Like they just they say anything they want, they do anything they want, and they will dare you to say something to them about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right about that.
So he can say, "Oh, I got sickle cell," and he threw a knife at me. What did you do to make this man throw a knife at you?
But then where does the compassion come in? Now, I don't disagree with you, but where does the compassion come in of understanding that this is your nephew? He's this way because this is what he was taught. This is what he's coming from. The pain that he probably has. Me perpetuating that pain is not going to help him. It's not going to propel him forward. So I get it. There is a certain level of discipline he needs, but I think maybe, like you said, we don't know the whole background of the story. Mm-hmm. Where, and I think as a parent, and so trust me, I got 3 teenagers right now. Lord have mercy, and so trying to understand where to tote that line between the love and the discipline is real hard. Because there's some days I want to say pack your bags and go.
But when you grabbing somebody else's kid, it's like you don't have time for that. It's a crash course. This boy almost grown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because America ain't going to play with him.
Right.
America ain't going to say, oh, well, yeah, you got to come in here on the, I understand what you're going through, but, you got to listen to what I'm trying to tell you. So if he hasn't gotten these values before he got to this man's house, then it's no time to play.
Right. And I agree.
You know what I
agree.
mean?
I agree.
So you need to do what you need to do under my roof and in my house so that you can get out here and be somebody.
Agreed. Definitely agree between both of y'all.
Yeah.
At the same time, still, we can't just throw that little boy in the fire like that.
Yeah.
If he's
He
never
left the
seen
fire.
that, he left from the violence and all of that to get out here to be shown the right way.
No parents, no nothing.
Yeah, but if he haven't seen that or been taught that way, you just can't expect that right away. Yeah, America not going to be soft on him. They're not going to tell him, oh, we'll work with you, this, that, and the other. But that's where that love come in at home to where he can say, okay, I'm doing stuff the right way. What's next? Show me this, show me that.
Yeah.
What's next? Okay, now I'm ready for it. Build them up. Don't just throw them out there. I mean, that ain't the way to just – everybody can't respond like that. Everybody can't retaliate like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't fend off like that.
But it's stages to everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if this boy is not comprehending the discipline stage, because the best way that you can show somebody you love them is by giving them structure. That's the best way you can show someone that you love them.
But
by giving them a plan to follow, by giving them something to emulate, example to imitate. You know what I mean? Especially for because again, I'm a woman, so I can't speak quote unquote for how a man feels. But I mean, I come from a family full of strong men. You know what I mean? So, and they raised us girls almost like boys. You know what I mean? So if I hadn't got certain things, you know, from them, certain structures to imitate, certain protocols to follow, a code, as we would say, of how to do things, then, I mean, I don't care how much love you gave me in the world. It wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been able to soak it up from you.
Right. But now taking your same point, and I'm going to take it to the person that has to receive all of that structure. Those people that were showing you love them, right? You love them. You trusted them, right? So before somebody begins to discipline you, you got to build a relationship. So has he taken the time to even build a relationship? Because who's to say that the young man can even receive from him yet? And that's the struggle. I'm telling you, I work in a school. That is the struggle I see every day with teachers, is they automatically assume a kid walk in the room. Kids don't know that you care until they know that you care. They don't care what you know until they first know that you care. And we can dismiss them and say they're kids and they should be obedient, da-da-da-da-da. That's a whole nother narrative. But you can receive from your uncles, your mom, dad, whoever it was that was instilling in you because you trusted them. You already had that relationship. So you wanted to soak from them. This dude coming from nowhere. So has he taken the time to get to know him, to build relationship so that then he can receive from him? And that's the part we just assume, because I got the knowledge, that you just supposed to soak it. And it just ain't automatic, because this is not the same generation. I'm 43. I was raised in a generation was you just do what adults say. These kids coming up is like, yeah, why? This is because they got access to all type of information.
Yeah, it's a lot.
They got options. You know what I'm saying?
lot.
It wasn't no options. It was either I listened to my aunts and uncles, my cousins that I was around, but that was it. Now these kids is like, I can talk to somebody in Africa. I can talk to somebody in Atlanta. So what makes you valid? So if you don't take that time to build that relationship so that kid can receive from you, it's all for naught.
But at the same, and again, agreed. But at the same time, just like you said, they have all of these options. Well, if you're going to come out here, you know, talking and dealing with different adults like you're grown, well, nigga, let's be grown and excuse my language, but you already know how I am. You know what I mean? Excuse me, white man. You know, don't soak it up. But, you know, then be grown. Yeah. So you can't say in one aspect that you want to act like you grown, but you want me to baby you like a kid.
Right.
You gonna get what you put out.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to understand.
Yeah, I agree.
It can't be no, let me coddle you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to kick it with me like you grown.
Yeah.
So you either need to get on one page or another and accept the consequences that come from how you kicking it,
right.
from how you relating to your world around you.
And that's the hard part for the person that has to give the balance, because you have to figure out which strategy works. And like in this situation, do I respond in love, or this situation I drop the hammer?
But
because every situation can't be drop the hammer,
right.
and every situation can't be love. But you got to figure out which strategy at which time, which one you gonna give.
But it's their choice.
Actually, it's the choice of the responsibility. And so the funny thing is, and I get where you're coming from, because teachers treat students the same way. They assume, but really, if I go off on my 15-year-old daughter for doing something dumb, the responsibility of maturity is on me, because I'm 43. The person that's supposed to be emotionally stable is on the adult, not the kid. So you tripping on the kid?
I mean, you know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a trip, because I look at people who put all this responsibility for a kid to be respectful and obedient and da-da-da-da-da. You 45 and you ain't obedient or respectful yet. So when a situation occur, if I go to court and I jump on a 15-year-old kid, who getting more time? The 43-year-old or the 15-year-old? Right. So the responsibility to be mature in the situation and to be unemotional is on the adult, not the kid, because the kid is learning. You should know by now. So you can't let the kid dictate which type of discipline they get. You have to figure out, as an adult, is this a love situation or is this a discipline situation? Or is it a blend of both?
Right.
I'm going to kick your butt, but I'm going to love on you afterwards.
Right.
Because oftentimes we're unbalanced.
Right.
It's discipline, 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 and your kid can't never come to you and say, "Oh, but I can't say that my mama don't love me."
Right, but you also speaking from a parental standpoint.
Right.
That's
Not
not,
his
his
fault,
blood.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So to come from, being, however your life was, so all of a sudden it's something different. I got somebody's kid with me. And so again, you kicking it with me like you grown. I'm trying to tell you what's good for you. I'm
Yeah.
trying to show you what's good for you as a man.
Yeah.
And as a black man, I'm trying to show you what's good for you. I'm trying to show you these rules out here.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you want to kick it with me like you grown. Well, you have two options. You're gonna come up. You're gonna choose this, or you're gonna choose this, and these are your consequences that you deal with from that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, if that's
Right.
your kid, because you know what's coming with your kid.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Anybody else kid sneak into your room and stab your ass. You know what I mean? You don't know because you don't know them.
Yeah.
They're still strangers.
Yeah.
So I don't care how immature they are or how emotional they are or how, naive to life they are, they still make grown decisions.
Yeah.
And there's consequences that come out of that.
True.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, for this grown man to throw a knife at your head,
You must have did something.
what did your man ass do in this house?
All right, so with that right there, I think the question I have for all three of you guys is, what point in your life did y'all make that turning point? As in, you know what, I'm grown, I'm about to go do this, and then seeing the other side of it of maybe I should have listened, or you know what, I knew what I was doing. So what kind of example can y'all give? Just from y'all background, where y'all looked up and y'all thought y'all was ready for the world, or y'all thought y'all was ready to take on this responsibility, or ready to take on this action that you was about to do, and then on the other side is like, you know what, yeah, this right here wasn't me. So like for me, I give my own example I gave out before with just college. Like in high school, I didn't see myself going to college. I was like, you know what, I ain't going to school, I ain't going to college. Like this ain't for me. But when I had colleges reaching out to me and accepting me, I jumped on it quick. Like, oh, you know what, well, I'm going to college then. You know, that's it. And it wasn't college; it was the being away that really got to me. Not being able. Well, I was able to call my mom, my dad. I was able to call people when I needed money and things like that. But it was the mental state of I didn't go home to my mom every day. My mom wasn't on me about how I was living every day. It was free. So she only knew what I was telling her. Yeah, you good? Yeah, Mom, I'm good. Even though I'm drunk right now, but you know what? I'm good right now, okay? And it was just, it took me that one mental breakdown I had in college, man, that I never forget. I was in the hallway. Everybody's having fun. And then, like, real life hit me. Like, you know what? I'm messing up. I'm blowing up. I never seen myself getting this far. Now that I'm here, I'm not taking advantage of it. But at that point, it was too late. And it wasn't, well, I'm not going to say it's never too late. But in my eyes, it was too late. And life had hit me hard in this. I remember at the time, people from the church calling me, family members calling me, trying to talk me through it. But it just all in that instant, it was like, you know what? I messed up. And it just, that right there was that real reality. So just coming home like a week later after that, it was like, yeah, you lost. So when I came home, it affected me big because I started partying more and things like that because I was lost. I was spiraled out. At the time, I didn't believe, at the time I felt like I couldn't talk to my mom. I couldn't talk to my dad about real life stuff. I couldn't do it. My mom, I just felt like it was more so of yeah, she ain't gonna understand where I'm coming from. With my dad, it was, we ain't got to talk. We just go to Teresa, get drunk, and then, that's it. But just moving forward.
Daddy is lying.
Your daddy
Your
the
daddy
man, bro.
So just moving forward. So what point in your life did y'all look up and say, you know what, this right here was a good turning point in my life. I hate the way it happened, or I hate or love the way it happened, but it happened. Like what was that biggest? What was one of those first impacts or big impact into your adulthood that you kind of took? We can start off with you, Kativa.
I have a few turning points, but I'll go back to when I was younger, and I don't know. Yeah, I'll use this example. I have several. So my mother and parents were the kind. I was the oldest in the house. I have one older sister, but I was the oldest in the house. My parents were kind of hands off with me, I was kind of the kid who just was gonna do right and was gonna get it done, and so they didn't really have to. I didn't do the whole mom can I. So when I got to my senior, I went to school every day. They never got any phone calls, so everything was good. Nobody checked credits to make sure I was going through school. Nobody did that. It was just they knew that I was kind of the independent. She got it, cool. Graduated. I decided I was going to Ferris. Did everything, financial aid, everything, all myself. Nobody was a part of that process. Did it, got me a bus fare. Nobody said, oh, let's make sure she make it. So that's my story. So anyway, came home after one semester. My parents had filed for divorce. I felt like I needed to be home for my mom with my siblings. Met a guy working over the Christmas break, had a daughter a year later. So at the point that I had my daughter, I've always been the oldest, so it was kind of just routine. You just have a baby because I've always had siblings, so it was just kind of going through routine. So I ended up going to church and joining the church, and this is a weird story, but this is my story. So one day, the church was having a a fundraiser, and they were selling some pictures of the pastor and the first lady, and they were signing them. And so she said to me, who am I writing it? Now, I worked at the church, so they knew my name. So she was like, okay, Kativa, I'm writing it to you and who? I was like, to me. And she was like, and who? And in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean to who? I'm like, to me, Kativa. You know how to spell it? I'm on the payroll. You know my name. So she's like, no, to you and who? I'm like, what is she talking about? Like, literally, we went back and forth like 4 times. And she said, what about your daughter? And it's like a light bulb clicked. Like literally before that, I kind of was in emotion of just this is what you do. You get up, you take your baby to daycare, you go to work, but not really consciously saying I'm a parent. You know what I'm saying? I never thought about it as this is me and her. We're like straight up a family unit.
Right.
And so she was like, "What about your daughter?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so," because she looked at us as that's a family.
Right.
I looked at her as that's just one of the other siblings I got. And so I think that was the moment that I started to look at me and my daughter as a family. Like, oh, this is real. Like, I'm not just her babysitter. And I think my mind transitioned from babysitter to mother. And she was 2. Mm-hmm. Like, that's real. Yeah, this is what it was. She was 2. She was good, but she was 2. And I was just like, oh. Like, so that was like the moment of going into motherhood, of understanding responsibility, no longer just thinking about it's just me, that I kind of shifted my thinking. And it was those small conversations of somebody tapping you like, hello. Mm-hmm. And then, so that was like a shifting in my brain. And I was 21 because I had her at 21. So I was 22, almost 23, somewhere in there. So I was young. And then I had some other major turning points, but I had 3 more kids, and that's that might possibly be for another show. But yeah, and then it got real. Yeah, things got real.
At Ferris State, that's where it got real.
Yeah, Big
Rapids.
Yeah, Big Rapids was good, but it was that coming home for that little Christmas job. And I'm telling you though, that's a whole nother, like, for real. I came home on a Christmas job. I was going back. Met a guy. That's what low self-esteem do to you. That's just real talk. Met a guy that had a car and was like, he let me drive it? Oh, I'm in love. This is it. Yeah. This is it. I'm like, I ain't going back. I'm straight. And I used my mother's divorce as a reason not to go back. My granddaddy called me like, what you mean you're not going back? I got the money. I paid it. I used the bill. Oh, granddaddy, I owe $1,300. Here go the money. My granddaddy tried to pay the bill. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. Really and truly, I just wasn't telling nobody I didn't want to leave the dude. Okay. Got pregnant a year later, and, now my daughter 23. But, that's how kind of how it started. So you just had those moments where you living in survival mode or whatever you want to call it. And you just
exactly
in a cycle.
What it is.
You're just in a cycle. And then sometimes life will just tap you and say, hey, you realize you got a kid. Oh, yeah. All right. My bad. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay.
That's one of the first
All
ones.
right, we got Jose next. I just want to put this out there before he starts talking. This guy right here, I just want to apologize. I don't know what story he's going to tell. But just me personally knowing his background, it is the No Limit Podcast. We are raw on this show. Everything is uncut. It's just to help people out. So...
I can't even stop smiling.
Y'all got to cut out for like 5 minutes real quick. I understand. But no, we have Jose, y'all.
Now I'm going to keep it clean, man. That's what I'm going to do. I ain't going to... It partially involve a little bit of it, but...
All I'm saying is this, man.
I know it's no limit, out, man. Trust me. I can tell the truth. You right.
Be open with it. That's all it's about.
They ain't go through what I went through or how I did it, but you know...
You never know. Somebody may be looking down that barrel right now to make the same way, man.
I can tell. Okay, so start of my turning point to where I actually felt the turning point, I'm a kind of start like you did. I was in the 6th grade. That was when I really started to feel like, okay, I need to quit lying first off to my parents.
I ain't never heard this one.
I needed to,
He took it back on this.
I needed to quit lying to my parents.
And I ain't never heard nothing about
Like,
6th grade.
started in 6th grade. This is okay. So my mom don't play. Neither did my dad, but neither one of my parents, my grandparents, my aunties. Hey, I know y'all looking. Don't nobody play the lying game in my family at all. They hate that. And I was lying bad this whole week in particular. And I swear, my dad was a cop. He always left out in the morning. My mom was still at the house this one morning in particular. Like, the school bus came and picked me up. How the hell did she beat me to class? I don't know. I don't know how. Still to this day, I don't know how. School was only like 6 minutes from the house. We left out before my mama. No extra bus stops. We just go to school. I walk in Miss Brown class. My mama is at the desk talking to Miss Brown because she just had this feeling that I was lying. This whole week, I was telling my mama every day I was doing my homework, just so I can play the game or go outside with the squad, with the fellas. She getting there talking to Miss Brown. Miss Brown showed her the whole page, whole work week that I didn't do nothing. Nothing. So it started at school. I went to Inkster Christian Academy, and you can get whoopings at school.
Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah.
So that was the start of it right there. My mom whipped me in front of the whole class.
Wow.
That was the start of it. That was embarrassing as hell, but till now I get it. Obviously, I embarrassed my mom and my dad and my family because I was lying. And here they are thinking you doing your job, you work, blah, 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 blah. And I was lying to them. So it started there. And my mama said, you know I hate liars. I'm going to see you when you get home after school. I tried to prepare myself, y'all. You hear me? I tried to prepare myself. So when I got to the crib, I put on like 5 pair of shorts, 2 pair of jeans, 3 pair of jogging pants. Nigga, I was geared up, ready for war. So my mom and my dad get to the crib. They talked to me. We in the room. My mom went first. Told me up. My dad went next. But as my dad was whooping me, he noticed. He said, you look kind of big below. What's going on? Took off like 1 of the pair of pants and 2 pair of shorts. I still had on like 7 more layers. So I was good. I just was faking the crab. But until they started whooping me on the calf muscles, that's when it got real. So the actual real part of that whooping too was after my dad whipped me, they both whooped me together. Oh. So that 2-party whooping, after my ass healed up the next day, I need to start telling the truth, Jose. So I kind of use that example to go forward and start listening to my parents or whatnot, believing in what they were saying and stuff like that. So how I turned out to be, my maturity and everything like that, I fast forwarded to college. Okay, so part of this, I started doing amateur night at Watts Club Mozambique back in college too.
There you go.
For people that don't
Ring
know
the
what
bell.
Dropping cakes.
bell.
Dropping cakes. No, dropping cakes.
Ring the
If
bell.
y'all don't know what Watts Club Mozambique is, it's a male strip. Well, it was. It's burnt down now. A male strip club, man. Made buku dollars there. That thing in a No Limit podcast, I'm gonna tell y'all, for a long time, Watts Club fucked my life up. But at the same time, I met some hell of a people, experienced some hell of a things. And why I say that is because I was playing football at Grand Rapids Community College, and we stayed off campus. But I had 2 roommates. All of our parents had agreed to pay the rent, all of that good stuff. So they went in on all of that. One of my roommates had a car, but our only way of transportation to get to class was him. If he didn't want to go, we wasn't going. So I broke it down to my parents. I need help with that. You know what I'm saying? It was back and forth. We're going to get you a car. It took forever. But even though I still end up finally getting a car. But right around the time I got a car, my dad went down. His lower disc in his back, he had an injury at the job. So my dad went down. They told him he couldn't work for about a year. He had to have surgery, all of that good stuff. One night at Watts, we had a party. I came down from Grand Rapids, did the party. I think I made $1,700. When I was in class that next morning, something just was like, nah, this ain't for you. I need to be at home, and I need to be helping my parents. So me making that money, my dad was down, my mom needed my help. I was raised by my aunties, uncles, my grandfather, my grandma, everybody around me, and instilled in me to help everybody else. Be there for your family. And I'm like that till this day times 10. And I went home. I started dancing full time. I said, I left school. Wasn't no more college. This ain't for me. I need to get to the crib. So whatever my parents needed, I was helping with, whether it was car notes, bills, my little brother, my little sister, whatever they needed, I was taking care of it. I took my dad to therapy every day for almost a year for his back. I stepped up to be, because I am the oldest. So I stepped up to be the oldest, what I'm supposed to be doing, setting a good example for my little brother and little sister. And for me, that was my transition into manhood for myself, to say, I'm here, accept your responsibilities, and go forward. So that's just one example, but
In a nutshell.
in a nutshell.
How did you transition out from Mozambique? If the money was that good.
If the money was that good.
I'm
My
sorry.
transition out, you're right. You're all right. You're all right. My transition out is sitting to my right, which is my wife.
Got it. Sweet.
Was a hell of a transition. And I can tell you this, too, since I'm on that real quick, my wife used to hold my life years ago. I used to try to get her. See, you hear me? I was 22. I used to try to get her. I used to try. Was it 21, 22, something like that? I used to try to get her. She used to hold my life. Every time I walked in the shop, she'd do this.
Because I ain't has time for your shenanigans.
Every time I walked in the shop, hey, how you doing? I just say hi sometimes. Her first words was, boy, get the fuck out of my face. You ain't ready for me?
Oh.
He gonna talk about this until we die. He tells this story to
heard it a few
everybody
times.
that we
A
meet.
few times. Listen, because it's real. I used to try to get on.
We
See,
gonna be 90
So
years
was that
old,
the,
and
was
he's
that
still
the,
gonna be talking
was that,
about
start
was
of
that
it?
the pursuit? Is because she kept shutting you down?
No, so
No,
I was
it
in my
was
20s.
pure
It was like
coincidence.
Oh, okay. Okay.
mutual. Let's fast forward to 5 years ago. We had a mutual friend. Excuse me. Our mutual friend she does like events for breast cancer awareness and other stuff that her organization does.
Okay.
She was doing a photo shoot and she needed some models. She called me, hey, Jose, would you be a model for my? Cool, I'll be a model. A couple days later, go by, whatever. She says, Jose, I had to replace your partner with somebody else. But she said, she know you. I said, send me a picture. And there's no they even them know my story, so I tell it the same way every time. they know my story. I say it the same way every time. And now that's my wife. I don't want to say it, but it's the story.
Yeah, it's the story.
So when she sent me the picture, I immediately called her. See, I know that bitch. Exactly what I said.
That's the story.
That's the story. That's the story. This is before she became the wife, because I'm not going to disrespect her.
Right.
But, yeah, I know that bitch. I was mad as hell, too. I said, I'm going to get her ass this time, though. I'm going to get her ass this time. So that was starting my pursuit. I stalked her.
Oh.
I ain't lying to you. I was on her Facebook every day and sending her messages. She worked out at the Powerhouse in Highland Park. I ain't never see her there. Know why? Because she go at the ass crack of dawn, 5:30 in the morning. I'm just now at my heyday, getting in the house, having fun. I was fucking my life up.
Yeah.
But
I was getting healthy and praying. You know what I mean?
I don't know about the praying part, but she was getting healthy though.
Yeah, I'm a spiritualist, so I was meditating on
But
life.
she definitely helped my transition out. She pushed me. She was there for me. She encouraged me every day. She wanted me to do better, and every step of the way was getting out of there in order for me to do better,
Now I
to
need
see
to hear
my
her
full
story.
potential.
Now I got to hear your turning point.
So, I mean, for me, to be honest, it never was a turning point. I am what I would like to, everybody would tell me, would tell you about me. I'm the deep, artsy-fartsy overthinker. So, for me, it was never a turning point. I'm a project of evolution. And the reason why I say that is because, growing up or whatever, I come from a hell of a family. Not to throw people under the bus or put people out there wrong, but I come from a kind of
Say it. No Limit Podcast. Say it.
You ain't got to put their name out there.
a gangsta-ass family, okay?
True thugs, though.
Yeah, like it's for real around these parts. I'm from the east side of Detroit. So, but I never really realized how deep my family was until I got grown. But, my family had their issues. Mother and father alike, they had their issues. They made their choices. So I was staying with my grandmother. I got off into her care, and she ended up going to jail. She had to turn herself in off of a murder charge.
Thug.
So, shut up, because Uncle Mel on here. He going to kick your ass talking about his mom.
He a real thug.
But yeah, so she she had to go in and do her time. Around that time, like our family took a huge hit. She went away. Our grandfather died, and like I said, my parents was going through their thing, so it was really just me for the most part. And I was grown in her house at 15. You know what I mean? Doing what I do to live and make money. Which now I see little memes and stuff around. They say, I don't want to dance. I want to get hooked up. Tell me what the dope hit for. That was me. So I never was into the, use my looks for gain side of things. You know what I mean? I was trained a whole nother way. So with that being said, I just kept evolving. When I hit my head on, or hit my head up against brick walls, or I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. A lot, and it was not easy. What you see sitting before you came from years of work, getting through daily anxiety attacks and not knowing what's going to happen or how you going to eat or if you're going to eat or buy a meal and make that mug last for 3 days or, you know what I mean? So, it was a lot that happened around that made me evolve to the state that I am today. Before him, I went through a long relationship, an ex-husband. That was very shitty in itself. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't have happened if she would have gave me the chance.
Boy, shut up. Damn. Did I talk on your story?
You did.
Damn.
You did.
Why we always got to go through this?
You did. You did. You did. That was my
Dang.
only intervention. Go ahead, babe.
But,
I'm
that
sorry.
whole low self-esteem thing that you said, I could definitely relate to it. You know what I mean? But now, it's just when you trust the wrong people. When you trust the wrong people with your vulnerability, you get horrible outcomes. You know what I mean? So, but I'm blessed to be where I'm at today. It took a lot of work. I'd have been to the point where I've been homeless before, sleeping in people's basements, and treating you bad because they don't help me to hold me. You know what I mean?
So that's why you understood the Judge Mathis story the
Oh
way you
yeah,
did. Got
definitely.
it. Yep, that makes sense. Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But my thing was I was never a disrespectful kid. I was never, I grew up Muslim. They ain't play that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you talking about whoopings in school. Oh yeah. And you know what? I wonder if any of y'all online right now, Nafisa, if you still online right now, they used to make us put our books in old school milk crates, right? To bring them to school like a book bag. And I'm thinking to myself, why we just ain't never get a damn book bag?
Right.
We used to have to carry these books in this milk crate up 6 freaking flights of steps daily.
That's that east side
Discipline.
living for
Up
real.
and down. You know what
Hard
I
life
mean?
over there,
Everybody
boy.
on
But
the east side
I
fast,
always
too.
wondered that. Like, why they ain't never let us get a book bag? But, like I said, I grew up underneath discipline. And it was a great thing, you know what I mean? And in order for anyone to really love you, it has to be a sense of, I don't really want to say fear, but you have
I
to
understand
have
what you're
a sense of disappointing that person.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I definitely had that for my family and for, a lot of my peers and the people that brought us up. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to let them down. That same sense that dudes have now about, they niggas in the hood or whatever. You need to have that about your family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what made you give him the yes? I'm sorry, I'm not hosting.
Oh,
this show.
okay.
Please
No,
go
we
down.
good.
This is what
To be honest-
it's about. Just talking.
To be honest,
So you get to the photo shoot.
okay.
At this point, he mad. I mean, he talking junk. So now what makes you? How did the connection happen?
So on some hood rat shit.
Tell
Okay.
him.
I'ma tell you why.
Real hood. Tell him, man. Tell him.
So me and Chunk, if you still online, so me and her, we were hanging out. It was Memorial Day. It seemed like every barbecue party, backyard event we went to sucked. Okay, wasn't nobody popping. There wasn't nothing going on, So we like, dang, we gotta find somewhere to be. So I'm just sitting there drinking, and when you get to drinking that Patron, you get a little, the rat thoughts start creeping into your mind. So I get, I'm going through Facebook, and I'm like, I text him like, no, he texts me. Matter of fact, it was divine intervention. He texts me and was like, oh, I just want to say have a happy holiday, beautiful, and I hope that y'all being safe out here. So I'm like, he doing some hood rat shit. You know what I mean? So I text him like, well, what y'all over there doing? He's like, oh, you know, we partying, we barbecuing, got some ribs on the grill. Ribs is all he had to say. Okay. So I'm like, okay, well, what everybody drinking? We gonna come through and kick it with you for a minute. So we did. I didn't know that he had girls over there already.
Pimping.
He
Says
had like
pimpin',
he had
pimpin'.
like 3 girls over there already. I didn't even know it.
Now I got to pause the story.
Says pimping.
I didn't know it.
But this is this is where I'm missing it. So you finally got your shot. She on her way. You don't tell everybody y'all got to rise up.
No,
First
I
of
don't.
all,
okay.
I think
All
he
right.
was just shocked that I was coming.
Okay.
Shocked that she was coming, but at that point, especially in what I was doing, I was too upfront with everything. So it was either if you're gonna deal with me or you not. That's just how it was.
So I get there and these chicks is thinking it's about to be a battle royale for his attention, though, right? So, but I'm ignorant to because I really didn't care. Keep in mind, around the time we got together, I was going through a divorce.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna say separation because I hadn't even filed the papers yet.
Okay.
I knew I was done, so I was kind of moving on. But I wasn't thinking about getting with nobody. My plan was to travel for a year, be single, because I have never really been single in my life for real.
Okay.
Not for real, for real. You know what I mean? So my plan was to just get out here and do me and enjoy life and, you know, try to recoup a lot of my 20s back that I lost. You know what I mean? So when I got over there, it was just like, okay, well, we going to drink and have a good time. Let's play some cards because me, I'm a drinker. I'm a shit talker. And for lack of a better word, I'm very niggish. Okay, that's me. So
That's real.
that's me. So, you know, we got over there and I'm like, so, you know, where's the bathroom? Oh, come on, I'm gonna show you. Let me take you to the bathroom. So he literally got my hand like a 4-year-old, taking me back and forth to the bathroom. So all the girls sitting there looking like, no, this whole nigga didn't. You know what I mean? So before I know it, I'm thinking that they was over there for his people or whatever. It's not even dawning on me that they there for him.
Wow.
So
Pimpin'.
anyway, to put this long story short, it was a one-night stand and never ended. He was talking crap back there in the backyard about how he was gonna mess up my life and all this. I said, yeah, okay, and keep in mind the time I was smoking cigarettes, so I was real smooth on his ass. I said,
she was gonna mess my life up.
I said, if this happens tonight, you're not going anywhere. I said, you're gonna wake up cooking me eggs in the morning.
All right now.
And I ain't cook no eggs.
But he's still here.
But he's
I
still
ain't going nowhere.
And he was
I
trying
ain't
to
cook
eggs
no
yet.
eggs. I done
Oh,
made
yeah.
eggs.
You done made eggs.
Eggs and steak. Eggs and
I
steak.
cooked
With
breakfast.
flowers sitting there with it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, it was literally, like, I didn't think that it was going to go as far as it did.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean? But, you know, once, you know, God bring you opportunity, it's kind of like, you know, because I never asked him to change his life. Like, I didn't ask him to stop dancing. I didn't. We were still together while he was dancing. I used to go to his shows with him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because in my brain, I'm like, this is who he was anyway. So, I mean, if it ain't going to work, it ain't going to work. I'm just have a good time out of it. I'm enjoying myself. He treated me excellent. You know what I mean? He was the man.
Look here, they
You
was
know
Jay-Z
what I
and Beyonce. Look here, when I met them, they was Jay-Z and Beyonce. You hear me? Listen, y'all. When I first met Jose, we was working at Menards.
Yeah,
talking about
buddy.
5 in the morning.
And that was the first job he got because he was still dancing when he was working at Menards. And he sat there. I don't mean cut you off, so hold that thought.
No, you good, you
but
good.
he was sitting there and he said, we were sitting outside drinking because we drunk a lot then. A whole lot.
Every day.
So we sitting there outside on the porch and he said, I think I'm about to get a job. So I'm like, what kind of job? He like, cause I ain't gonna lie, in my head, I'm thinking like, don't fuck up the money. What you mean? And so he like, I don't know, I'm gonna just look for a job. So I said, okay. He found that job and that's what he ran in today.
Okay.
So every step that we went through, I never asked him to adjust who he was. I never said, you got to change this to be with me. You got to do this to be with me. But on the other hand, once we decided we were serious, I also was upfront about what I was going to take and what I wasn't going to take.
Yeah.
For all the ladies out there, the conversation was, remember this conversation?
Go ahead.
The conversation was, I'm looking to get remarried. I'm looking for a family. If that's not what you want, that's not what you're looking for, I don't have to fuck just you.
All right. Now. All right. Okay.
That was straight
You're not
to
the only
point,
one making
straight
families
forward.
over there. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
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 Go ahead,
No.
D. How we meet,
retire-
boy.
retire.
No, look at y'all good. This was the show was about. But no, like when I first met Jose, it was 5 a.m. I'll never forget this, y'all. 5 a.m. now. 5 a.m. I'm just gonna keep saying 5 a.m. Okay, because you tired at 5 a.m. Every morning at 5 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, Jose comes down the back aisle loud as ever. Talking about not, hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's early. So as we got to talking, and I'll never get this, people in the job, like, we all thought Jose sold drugs. Because you
was crying.
honestly, it wasn't even that. It was just his character, the way he carried himself. And it was just like, all right, bro, like you come to work every day in a new pair of shoes. Like, and you working.
It wasn't drugs.
And it was just, so, and what, like, I even told him, when he told me his life, well, he didn't even tell me. We all got cool, and then a guy at the job found Jose's Facebook page. So as a joke, I still don't get this joke to this day, but as a joke, he printed out Jose's profile picture. And so you can imagine what his profile picture was as a male entertainer. And he posted it around the job. So you see,
Which I don't think that was no damn joke.
yeah, none of the guys understood what he was doing. The ladies loved it, but like, we didn't understand. Like, you took the time out to do this. So that's when he found out what he did. And I was like, bro, like, in my head, I thought that was just fictional. Like, I thought it was just like Magic Mike only. Like, I thought it was just not real life. And so just seeing that, so when him tell me about it, then seeing the transition of me going to a show with him and seeing it, I'm like, whoa, like, what is on the like what is the world coming to? I had my fun, we had the funds and everything, but it was just that. So even with it, so Jose is older than me. Jose got like 20 years on me, but
Damn, Dave.
Jose got 10 years.
I got 12 or you 34. I mean, you 24, right?
Yeah.
I got 12
so
on
he
you.
got 12 years on me, and I tell everybody, I was set with the friends I had coming out of high school. I didn't need no more friends. But I got introduced to Lawrence when I first started there. Lawrence introduced me to AC. Then from there, Lawrence introduced me to Jose. And from that time, just hanging out with those three, because they're all older. All my friends are all older, but they lived a different lifestyle. For those who don't know, for those who do know, I'm originally from the city of Detroit, but my mom moved me out to Bloomfield. So in my partying, so as I got old enough to hang out and really be out, I got the Bloomfield side of it. And with that, we was like, okay, yeah, we go downtown Birmingham, or we go to, we had party at the house. So my partying was only one way. Yeah, we used to drink and things like that. But hanging out with older people from the city, I seen a different lifestyle. And that right there was just a whole different change where I know I didn't party with those friends anymore. I was always out with them. Yeah. And I had a ball. They showed me different styles, but it helped me out a lot in life. Like last show, AC was talking about when he first met me, he'd have never thought I was only 19. That like they thought I was grown.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Jose was actually throwing a party, invited me to, and I asked him, I was like, can you get me in? He said, for what? Like,
I let
bro,
that
I'm only
Dave
19.
like he was 30. You hear
He
me?
got a full
Full beard, hair,
He got
all of that.
an AARP card, and he like, can you get me in the club?
I'm
And,
like,
so even with that, like, I never get this story. The first time I hung out with him was at his party. He threw a party at a strip club, and I had my mama truck that night, and I pulled up. Like, all right, I got like $300. I'm good. And mind you, this was my only second time being at a strip club. First time I ever went, I was turned 18. I got in trouble for going that night too. My mom knew I was going, but she told me I got to be home by like 11. I made it home about 2 in the morning. So this is my second time going, being old enough without a curfew. So I showed up on time, not knowing that you supposed to not show up on time. So I'm sitting there,
They still vacuuming.
Yeah, I'm talking about the door just open.
Right.
And I'm sitting there enjoying myself, drinking, throwing a little money, whatever. Let's just say that night, I think I made 1 or 2 trips back to the ATM across the street.
2 for sure. Two for sure.
And it was just so that I had so much fun, and it was just a thing of like, damn, like this is the other side of life that I don't know. But looking at it and transitioning between party with them, going downtown to Wayne State and party, and looking at the both sides of it, and being where I'm at now, I look back at it, you know, like we talk about this all the time about the money we spent partying, about the ways and all the money. So now that we're older and we're in our mature level has hit a different level, is like we could have invested into the homes. You know, we could have invested into the stuff we want to do now, stuff we talk about now. Is like we could have made those investments. So even for you, like, you know, a question I want to ask you is just coming from your background of making great money, the dance and things like that. When you look back on it, you know, like you said, like your first night, you made what, 1,700
that night. Yeah.
So you know, like even being in with him with so things, it's just what would you give to the people, young people, or even people your age or older? What would you give to them, knowledge wise, of what is to do different? I think it's very special because I know for sure you want to talk about the Nipsey Hussle thing for sure, but looking at a Nipsey Hussle who was giving back to his community, showing a difference. For somebody just speaking, you know, just speaking locally and just speaking to the people that's watching right now who may be doing good in life, who may be making that good money, and just, you know, and just living. So like, you know, even your background, you still know people that's in the life or that's in different lives making good money. What kind of tips can you give them that you wish a Nipsey Hussle that came and gave to you? Or you with somebody who had big influence on you at that time who could have set you down and said, "Hey, bro, you need to just start, start switching up the way you spend."
I definitely get what you're saying. Me, advice I can give, first thing I would say is slow down. Think about it. That money was coming fast in that industry. So my mentality, because I didn't have nobody to show me, teach me, tell me, guide me, was as fast as I'm getting it, I'm going to spend it. It was that simple for me. And as quick as I got it, I was blowing it. I didn't have nobody to say, "Hey, Jose," because I can tell y'all the truth. That was my past. But I had a party one night. The most I made it, and at dealing with Watts between tips and the door money and just renting it out, and all in all, I made $14,000 in one night. And the next day, I spent like $2,200. And I can't even tell you what it was on. I just know I went shopping. I went to the casino. I went out to eat. I bowled, of course, but I was at the bowling alley gambling. But I wasn't gambling to win. I just was having too much fun. I was like, I made this, I make it again. But it's never like that. So you think you make it that fast once. It's not that easy the second time, third time, fourth time. 'Cause that 14 might only come once every 8th or 9th party. Every party wasn't going to be the same. Every night dancing wasn't going to be the same. So when I say slow down, I mean slow down, think about what you want to do with it. Ask questions. I didn't ask questions. I didn't have I probably could have had some people to go to, but I was just living for me at the time. You know, so I was doing my thing. Yeah, I got kids and was trying to do whatever for them as well. But in that industry, I would tell you, slow down, think about it, ask questions, ask somebody, what could you do? You know what I'm saying? Surround yourself with people who actually want to do better, who want to do more. Or as they say, change your circle. I definitely changed my circle. I did a whole lot. I'm happy about it. I'm proud of myself for changing my circle. I wasn't not knocking the people of my past. You know what I'm saying? No love lost. You move different as you get older. And I wish somebody would have told me, "Hey, Jose, we can go get these houses. Let's go do this." 'Cause for $14,000, I could have went and got 2-3 houses. We could have worked on it, rented them out, sold it. Let's do it all over again. I didn't have nobody wanting to do that. I had guys. We made this. Let's go to the titty bar and blow it. I'm buying $700-800 pair of shoes for what? You know what I'm saying? That we don't need a $700-800 pair of shoes. You can use that $700-800, put it in an investment account. Invest with your brothers. Invest with your people. I mean, we start as something as simple as, and always mentioning my dog AC, and we still could do it now just with one paycheck. He always said he wanted to start a cutting grass business. Lawn equipment is not expensive. We can go do that off one paycheck, but it's just as simple as going to do it versus talking about it. Ain't nobody bagging me on that. I mean, if anybody listening or trying to go forward doing that, surround yourself with people who want to see you do better, not just yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to want it, but you surround yourself with people who actually want you to want it. I seen that quote Nipsey said, and I really like it. I mean, that hits home. I love it. That's why I talk to my brothers on a day-to-day basis about what we could do better. If you look at your circle and you don't get motivated, change your circle.
Yeah.
I love that quote by Nipsey. That's something I think we all need to, especially us, you know, regardless you call it young, the ones younger than me, my age category, us as blacks, period. If your circle not motivating you, change your circle. Or you could be the one in your circle that changes the whole demeanor of your circle. Everybody in your circle could be, let's link up, let's party, let's drink. No, let's sit down and say one day, hey, no, let's link up, let's talk these business ideas, and let's make this money together. I know a whole bunch of people who sit around and talk about, I'm tired of working for this motherfucker. I'm tired of working for that motherfucker. Let's start working for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, why we got to start, I'm tired of it. Let's do something about it. Let's make the change ourselves. Don't nobody have to change it for you. You could change it. The people around you, your brother could change it. Your wife could change it. My wife was the main reason she became my wife is she always motivated me. She always pushed me to do better. If I was going to get a job, I wanted to go get a job. You know what I'm saying? Babe, you need to start taking this class. I got my CNA. I'm certified. I didn't go forward in it. I did want to be in the medical field because I wanted to do something with my mom because she's a nurse. And I'm still going to do something with my mom just on the other side. You know what I'm saying? My mom want to open up a group home. So that's not going to be hard. I'm going to be with her every step of the way because I want to do that with my mom. My wife said, babe, go drive trucks. I love driving trucks. You know what I'm saying? I got my CDL now. I talked to Dave, AC, my brothers, Quentin, whoever about starting a business together all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's motivational towards each other, keeping my circle uplifted, and I want to continue to do that.
To add off of that, I have had out of my whole life one job. As far as me working for someone else getting cut a paycheck for them to say what I'm going to make. And after that left, I vowed to never work for anyone ever again. So speaking as someone that has worked for herself since, I think I quit that job, 16?
Oh, wow.
I've never worked for anyone else since then. Again, it's a lot of ups and downs, but it's a committed path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of the main things that stop, like for instance, because everybody was talking about the Nipsey thing. One of the main things that stops people from getting where they want to be to launch that new business is yourself. It's not so much as the crew around you. Because don't get me wrong, you always get influence. Mm-hmm. Influence is what makes your dreams. You know what I mean? What people say to you, what people believe that you are, that's the influence that makes or breaks what you think your dreams are. But what makes them happen is for you to get over the fear of flying. You know what I mean? Because it's always that, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to start doing it, but, you know what I mean? It's just that little, because every single time I start off on a new business venture, I go through that. I say, and I get all of these compliments. Oh, you're doing it, and you out here doing this, and I'm so proud of you. And they just don't know I'm scared shitless every single time I do it. Yeah. But you have to push past that part. You know what I mean? In order to really see it come to fruition the way that you think it can. Yeah. So it goes above influence. You know what I mean? It goes off into the realm of belief and how much you believe in it.
Okay. And then everybody, and just in another, the other side of that to me is that everybody's not born with it. I've never wanted to own a business. Right. I've never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I have no desire, and I'm 43.
You can't be real with yourself.
Yeah, I like a predictable check.
Yeah.
And I can say that, and I don't know if I'm saying that because I'm a single mom with 4 children, and maybe when I hit 48 and the kids are gone, some of the things and ideas that I've had over the years, I'll take the time. But right now, when it comes to the family dynamics, I need that predictability for myself. That's just how I am. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because looking at my children, I don't necessarily push the education thing because for them, I want to look at them and see different gifts, stuff that they naturally like to do. And so it's like, okay, I see that you like doing it. So this is just an example. So my youngest daughter is 12. And she plays this game on her phone because she finds the weirdest games. And so the game is a stylist. They give you a scenario. You going out. She's going to the Forbes party. She needs some knee-length dress to wear, and she has a date who's wearing this. And my daughter has to put a whole outfit together from her hair to the color, the whole spiel. Mm-hmm. And then the game rates her on what the stylist she picked. And then she'll go across the bottom, and it'll show you other looks that other people chose. Mm-hmm. So that's basically a little game. But from there, it sparked conversation. Because she wants to be, so I'm like, well, have you ever thought about being a stylist? Do you want to sew? Do I need to buy you a sewing machine? Because I do feel like my generation, I'm just a few years older than you all, but my generation, I came out of the Cosby Show Different World era, with black college and going to college
we
and
had
getting
that
education. That was popular.
Yeah, that
so
was us.
everybody I graduated went away to college.
Right.
So you ain't want to be the only kid that didn't go away to college. You know, that's lame. Like what? Everybody going away, even if it was Ferris. 2.0 is all you needed to get in. Big Rapids. Yeah. So we all just went to be able to say I went, but to say the specific direction, having that. Not knowing what I'm going to college for, what I even want to be when I grow up, that whole conversation wasn't there. So as a parent, I'm starting to see that the kid doesn't have to be defined by a degree.
Right.
So now I'm starting to try to, though it's not for me right now, I could say, looking at my children, I'm saying, okay, they kind of do this well. My daughter, who's 15, hates school. I know it. She can't stand it. She just the only reason she goes is so she can play basketball. But over this last year, I watched her as all my friends' kids was going to college. Getting ready for prom. She on the ground in the cement, on the dirt, trying to take angles and then they like, oh, send me the pictures Ryan took. They were good. Then she tells me the other day, oh, I was skipping school. I was skipping class the other day, and I went down to the production room, and I really like it. So the teacher let me hang out in the production class, get behind the camera work. Ding dong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like I'm trying to be that parent that kind of sees the natural things that they do well so that they could possibly look at entrepreneurship as a thing. Because we know now going into this future, even like with Nipsey, and I think I have researched this dude for the last week since Sunday to Sunday. Like every video out there, I've been eating it up just because he was just that interesting of a person to me, and however you feel about the situation, whatever, but you can't say that he had it in him. He sought out knowledge himself. It was something that was birthed in him to go out and pursue that. So I think it's our responsibility with the next generation coming up to not pigeonhole them to getting a 4-year degree, because again, a 4-year degree doesn't do anything but put you in a position to work for somebody else
and give you a debt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think I love it. Like with Dave doing this, and I've known Dave since he was a little guy. So I love that he's stepping out there and going outside the box. His mom talk about it all the time. So to see the next generation coming up, you guys got so many options. Because, my parents were get a job, do 40, 30 years, retire, get a pension. You know what I'm saying? That was the mindset. Yeah. You were doing good if you could do that.
Right.
Then here come my generation where we're a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So now the new ones coming up, they got so many options, so many platforms, music. You don't need Atlantic and Epic and all of that to make music. You do your own thing. Stream your own stuff. So I think now that the options are just so wide.
Right.
That it's like, go for it, Because I hear people from other countries say it's no reason why people in America shouldn't go for it, because other countries, they literally, if you, like the scripture says, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
Here, at least you can go get stamps. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you ain't got nothing, you can go get you some stamps, you can go get you some aid. You got at least some type of cushion. In other countries, literally, if they don't work, they don't eat.
Right.
So we don't really have an excuse here not to try and jump out there. But like you said, back to your point, is fear. Fear is a powerful motivator too. That's the other side of that.
It's gonna paralyze you or it's gonna catapult you.
Yep, one or the other, and the choice is yours.
Yep.
Definitely the choice is yours. So you've been knowing David for a long time. You've been knowing David for how long?
David had to be if Courtney was kindergarten, first grade, you had to be 3 or 4. Yeah.
Okay, so listen, maybe you can help me and AC understand this.
Okay.
What perpetuated David to go bald?
So Dave is in my opinion, Dave.
Ace, I got you.
So here.
I got you, Ace.
Dave is in a so he's in a fearless mode right now.
Yeah.
So
I
think the hair is just another.
I am not my hair.
Yeah, like he's not being defined by his hair, by his age, nothing. So he is just it's just another expression of the state of mind that he's in right now.
I'm with
like
you.
if I can, why not? Who's to say I can't?
You're right.
Who cares that I had an excellent hairline? And you don't. That ain't
excellent. You excellent. You hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because the hairline is important to you because you're losing it. I've always had one. So it's nothing for me to let it go.
It's okay.
Don't touch my line. Don't touch my line.
Not you.
Don't touch my line.
It's okay.
That vein right there getting a little longer.
Not you per se, but I think his head is just an expression But his mom is always. We've always had a conversation. Dave's gonna be a businessman. We knew it then. We never just knew how or which direction he was gonna go in. I'm happy to, and actually, it's more of a blessing to see, even with the experience that he's had, that he's still only 24 and he's already getting it.
Yeah.
Because
Most
you know,
definitely.
I'm 43 and it took me a whole long time to get it. So so never, and that would have been my point to you or to him. Because even at your age, if I could roll back the time to your age, that's almost almost 8 years apart. It's a whole lot of information I've gotten in 8 years that if I could roll back to 8 years ago, I would do some things different. 24, like have the thought, because I was in the plant doing well, top seniority. I was rolling. I'm good. I'm making almost $40,000. I got one kid at 24. Life is wonderful. I'm gonna retire from here. I'm good. I don't have to do nothing else. And so to be able to take the steps that you all are making, I mean, at your age, time is of the essence. Just do it. You know, it just do it. And with a person like me who go out, you have children, and now that becomes the priority in your life. So now I don't really have the space, even though I've taken some leaps of faith. I don't have the space, in my opinion, because my kids are getting ready to launch out into the world. So nothing else is important to me at this time.
Okay.
I got 6 years before my
You don't have no
youngest.
time for
Yeah.
figures.
I don't have time to figure stuff out. Right now, I need consistent money flowing because I got 6 years to launch my last kid out. So once I launch her out, and that's the most important thing to me right now, is to launch them out into the world with as much stability, emotional and mental health, so that they can handle life. So, but to get it at 24, you know, that's phenomenal.
All right, so I do want to go back kind of on what you said earlier, you know, just about your turning point and the whole thing of, like, so what is it? Because, like, you see nowadays, especially nowadays, you see females, and kind of what Connie said, you know, I think both of y'all had some good points. Yours was I came home from school because I met a guy who had a car. And, you know, so, you know, you said that right there is something like that you kind of, you know, something that you caught to.
Yep.
Versus Connie's side was I was raised to where I didn't need nobody, or like my beauty, like, well, no, I'm sorry. Connie was raised to where I didn't have to use my beauty, my looks, or my features to get.
She was
what
raised
I
to hustle.
needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was raised to hustle. So with those two backgrounds, because, like, you know, the show, I really like the show because everybody on the show, even like you guys, everybody comes from a different background, and I think that's helped people out who's going through something in life to see that different backgrounds on how they made it through, and just, you know, looking at that, like, from that woman at that time to now, what did you think you have done different when it comes to either dating or looking at a male, or even just mindset? You know, even with you, kind of, when it came from, I am just here to hustle. I'm just here. How did that affect your dating life? Because it's kind of like I didn't need a man, and we talked about it.
No.
Or did you ever have an attitude of I didn't need a man?
No, I love love. I love the concept of love. I'm in love with motherfuckers even when I ain't with them. I was in love with him before I met him. You know what I mean?
That's some deep shit.
I was in love with the idea of what real love should be. You know what I mean? Because I grew up seeing my parents beef, and I seen my mom go through all of these different. You know, don't get me wrong. My mom was an excellent provider, but was she necessarily a happy woman? No. And when women aren't happy,
They put you out the house.
you can't be the best figure that you should be. You can't be all that you can be for your children.
So you say, so like, give
So
an example,
it was
like, when you
never
said,
that.
like, when women are not happy, give like an example of that.
When,
As a child, from like your child, from like your view of a child.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, my mom gave me everything she could. She did everything she could.
Yeah.
Whenever she wasn't working or whatever, and she was around, she was constantly, you know what I mean? When I was younger, like that, those were fine memories. But I can also remember, you know, my mom me and her stayed in a halfway house at one point in time. Like, she had left my dad. She was working. I was staying with people that I didn't even know to watch me at night and, you know, to put me to bed and give me baths and, you know what I mean? Because she was trying to stay away from my dad and, you know, just whatever their dynamic was. You know what I mean? Because as kids, we can only take bits and pieces of what we hear from each side.
That conversation.
Only thing we know for sure is how it affected us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, when I said like, my dad was damn near like Rick James back in the day. Okay, that was him. So, I mean, but
It is what it is.
it is what it is at this point.
That's
You know
the
what I
story.
mean?
Yeah, that's
so
the story.
I mean, so I can remember her, crying, and I come in the room like, what's wrong? And she just like, nothing. But as I get older, it's like, oh, I didn't know how I was gonna pay this, pay that. My dad set our car on fire at one point in time. You know what I mean? So, I mean, she was going through a lot of stuff, which he denied it to this day. But deep down in ourselves, we know it was his ass. Because she asked him, and the nigga was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. You know you did that. But anyway.
Something had to be.
Yeah, the tree was on fire and everything above it. Like, it was crazy.
Dang,
but anyway.
I don't know what she had.
But anyway.
Boy.
My mama had a brand new Mustang, too. He set that mug
I ain't talking about the
ablaze.
car. I'm not talking about the car.
Let me talk about my mama cooter.
I'm just saying. As
So
a man,
anyway.
she set something on fire for no real.
Anyway. But, but in the long run, though, as a child, that affected me. Because when you have those emotions pouring out of you for your children to absorb, because we're sponges.
Yeah.
So if it's pouring out of her and I'm constantly soaking it up, you know what I mean? Just like women who's depressed, or women who's suffering from low self-esteem, or whatever the fact may be with their particular issue, that child soaks up that issue.
Yeah.
I don't care how great and you can be amazed at how many children are great manipulators.
Yes.
Like on some adult level type shit.
Yeah.
Like you would look at them like, this motherfucker came out of a soap opera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But thank God with my bullshit detector, I'd be like, go sit your little ass down. You know what I mean? Because I see it. But I don't see you as a kid. I see your parents. I see your mama. I see what you learning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, as I grew up, again, that didn't stop me from feeling like I didn't need a man. That didn't make me feel like, oh, men wasn't going to be important in my life. It was actually the opposite. I wanted a man to be there because even though I was raised with that hustle mentality, I was raised with that from the men in my family. You know what I mean?
So you still got it. You still got it from somewhere.
Right. I got it from them. I got it from them as a survival mechanism. You know what I mean? Because I was the only child. I didn't have brothers and sisters. I didn't have no one to go cry to and say, oh, my God, help me. These people just hit me, or these people just jumped me, or these people just broke into my house, or these people. I had to be able to handle my shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And keep in mind, back in my day, I was like a damn unicorn on the block. It wasn't no people that looked like me on Van Dyke and Gratiot. Mm-hmm. You know how much I had to fight and get into it with people every damn day?
Just baby D.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't common like it is now.
Yeah.
Like, it's common to see a bunch of mixed kids everywhere. And you're like, oh, what's up? You know, you black? Yeah, you my peoples. I used to go into the beauty supply store, and I will not play with you. Maxie's. On 7 Mile on Gratiot. Every single time I went into this beauty supply store, I would have a woman stop me and say, what is you? And to have to be like, I'm black. You know what I mean? Like, question mark? Like, was that right? You know what I mean? So, I never felt like, well, back to the question. So they were preparing me for what was coming. Yeah. I guess, without even them knowing it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? My grandmother used to tell me all the time, you don't need no man to tell you you cute. Look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. So we used to snap peas and cut grass and hang stuff and sweep the carpet because we ain't had no damn vacuum cleaner. And we was out of them old school big ass family flats. So you had to sweep that bitch from the back to the front. Sweep everything out the front. Why you think my arm's so strong to this day?
The traps.
You know what I mean? The traps. Boy, on that old school straw broom. Yeah. Please. Okay, I'm super strong. Yeah. But I love the idea of, I always wanted that. But I think that because I wanted that so bad, it led me to some bad places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a lot of smoke screens that I didn't really notice.
Okay.
She didn't give this screen a chance to display it.
You just love any damn reason.
I gotta let it be known, boy.
Insert Jose here.
TT, she done let me come back in. I'm trying to tell you, David.
Shut up.
That money I was making, we had some businesses, boy, but I was dealing with
But
knuckleheads.
I wasn't ready then. You know what I mean?
I think it's. I mean, I
wouldn't
think
have
it's
been
all about
ready
timing.
then.
'Cause
It is all about time.
if it would have happened the first
Yeah.
time, y'all probably wouldn't be here now.
Man, I'd
Listen,
have
I
beat
hear
his
y'all.
head in
I
with
hear
something in
y'all.
his
I hear
sleep.
y'all. I do. And I can't do nothing but agree to that. But my
Because
wife,
I wasn't mature enough then.
even
you
with
know
her
what I mean?
maturity, we could have grew in that maturity together. My wife didn't know she had this other side of being silly, goofy, down to earth.
Nah,
she was
'cause my
always
life
so
was
mean.
serious as hell.
She was always so mean,
I had
so
real shit.
straightforward.
Hey, as a woman, you know,
real
when we got
shit.
real shit going on,
Yeah.
we ain't got no time for what you talking about. We
Understandable.
trying to go
Yeah.
for the real deal where we can
That's
see what we can
understandable.
calculate.
Guess what?
You know what I mean?
Laughter.
But see, that's
helps
what makes it. I think that's the
ease.
beauty of the relationship that you all have. And I don't even know you beyond the few minutes that we've been here. But I think that's the beauty is finding. Nobody wants two hard people together,
Oh,
and then
hell
you don't
no.
want two silly people together because y'all gonna take up the room and overdo it.
Yeah.
Nothing is gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? It's the balance, and I think that's the beauty
Definitely.
of finding your opposite. But
She's
you got,
definitely the third.
yeah, you definitely, and you got to appreciate that because you don't.
Oh, I do.
You can be like-minded, but your personalities coming together will balance each other out.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, I'm a big discerner. You know what I mean? I can kind of see what's popping off before the proof is there.
Yeah.
You know, like he'll say, you can't judge these people. You can't tell me what these people gonna do because everybody's their own person and people got the will to change. And I'm sitting there like, well, they done did this, and this equals that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you coming from the situation you come from, and then you sounding like you coming from a two-family household.
Yes.
That's a whole nother
Yeah,
different
but-
dynamics of coming
But
together.
that's also what I loved about him. Like, if I would have known what I know now about my ex-husband, those red flags were there.
yeah.
Like, he didn't have a good relationship with his mom,
Yeah.
with his family. They was
those are
always
things that
on
we
the
know
ins and
now
outs.
that
And
they
we
wasn't
don't
telling us.
understand that
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
men and relationships.
Yeah, they wasn't
If-
telling us that type of information back then.
If they got mama issues,
Yep.
daddy is, you don't want them.
But then on the flip side, I hear nowadays that guys are saying they don't want to marry a girl who didn't have their daddy. Because she
these
coming with a
guys
whole
is kids
they're coming
nowadays,
with
man.
a whole set of issues.
But it's real though.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
real.
yeah.
But these
yeah.
guys is kids today. That's why. I mean, like you said, it's a pattern that starts from
But-
way back when.
but if I
would
held
always
on-
want somebody like
But if I held on to my childhood trauma from my dad, and then we met with you doing what you were doing, ain't no way we would have worked.
No.
Because I would have been like, you a cheater, you a liar, all men are like you, and you're not changing your life, and I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being
That's
hurt.
actually, you know what? That's actually pretty good because 2 shows ago we talked about that. Well, I mentioned where I said like I didn't see Ryan as my wife because she wasn't my mother. So I think it's just so much of the question. That statement you said, men are not dating females who have daddy issues. I can understand why because I knew the things from a male. I knew the things that I took Ryan through because of my own daddy issues and my own with daddy issues. Then I'm looking at someone who's not my mother.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm pretty sure Jose can relate to this. As a mom, growing up with a mom is just that's our first love. That's who we see of an example of. And Jose coming from a come from a 2-parent household where he woke up and seen his mom and his dad every day.
Yeah.
He has
And
a
that
different
was
And he had a
blessed. He
blueprint.
was blessed.
Yeah, he
That's
had
a
a
blessing.
blueprint.
So his
Yeah.
dad was in
Yeah.
the home every day showing him, look, this is how you treat a female. This is how you supposed to do your wife, and that is that of this. And he's seen trials and tribulations between their marriage and things like that to learn from. Versus versus for me it was just I grew up every day. Some days my dad would be there, some days he won't.
Right.
And it was just that. So my mom was the blueprint. I seen my mom at the plant working, making good money and things like that. To even when she lost her job, even when she had her injury and living in Bloomfield, at one point living in Bloomfield, and this was some of the things that I didn't realize at that time that I kind of did take advantage of. When I say take advantage, I really realized how much my mom was riding for us. Which is at one point living, when we moved to Bloomfield, my mom was up. Mom making great money at the plant. We lived the best life. We got anything we wanted, and we was living good. But after 2 or 3 months, I want to say living out there, she got into a car accident.
Yeah.
So we went from living we went from living great to now we're in Bloomfield, and it's poor. And it's, all right, she ain't worked for 2 years, waiting on the settlement check to come in. That come in, that pay all the back bills, and that get us back together. Now it's, dang, you really got health problems. So you really can't work. So it's just, after getting done with the rent, surviving off $300 a month in Bloomfield.
In Bloomfield.
So it's just a thing of, I never get the time to where our lights got cut off. And it wasn't, I didn't see a panic. It was you know what? I think she called you that night. And it was like, you know what? We about to go across the street, and I'm getting us a hotel room tonight. We about to just go to a hotel. Mind you, we got school the next morning, so we like what? Like, we didn't know what was going on. I think she was a power hour or something like that. But she made it fun. Well, we didn't know. We went to a hotel. We got in the pool. We had a good time.
That's a good parent.
And
That's a good parent.
It was bad at the time as a kid. And I think this is the thing of just coming from Detroit to there. And when you live in that good life in Detroit, and you kind of, and I'm thinking like Bloomfield, then you send your friends, people you go to school with, living in mansions.
And now you the
Black
partner
people,
in Bloomfield.
honestly,
You went from being straight in Detroit to now you ain't got shit in
it's
Bloomfield.
Bloomfield.
But it was just, I never felt that way.
Right.
But it was just a thing of, I knew we didn't have it by looking at these people home.
Right.
Like, we live here, but on the other side of this wall,
Right.
we got black people living in mansions.
Right.
Like, a Rickland Franklin family lived behind us.
Right.
Her son and them. I had an NFL player who won 3 Super Bowl rings. We used to go to his house play ball. And it's just like, looking at that, I was like, man, like, dang, okay, my mom did good for us. But looking back where I was at, I used to do a lot of stuff to piss her off and things like that. But it's just, looking back, it's like, you did everything that you were supposed to do for us.
Yeah.
And I took it for granted. By the time I was giving the credit to somebody who wasn't there, somebody who didn't.
We
put
all
out,
do that.
somebody.
All kids do that.
I was giving the credit to my father with it, and it was just, you wasn't there. You wasn't helping us out with this. You wasn't doing that. And I think a lot of kids nowadays, I don't think kids nowadays are really looking at it, or really looking at that, what your parents are really putting out there on both sides. And I think it's just kind of, I think it's kind of unfortunate that they don't. Because I met one lady doing my Uber, and hearing her story, she's from Chicago in the hood, and hearing her story, like, we sat in the car for like 2 hours crying with each other. Just her telling me her story of her upbringing, and it made me think about my life. Like, you complaining or you got issues with this, but this young lady, basically, kind of just got parents. Her mom OD'd, dad left to find. Dad moved up to the suburbs, didn't take her with her, treated the stepkids better than her. So she lived with different people, getting molested her whole life, living house to house. Talked to her dad once when she was 9. He said he gonna come get her, never did, and just getting molested. Literally her whole life by different men. And so she had a daughter. She said the first time she ever loved her daughter or hugged her daughter was when she was 9 years old. Her daughter's 9 years old. Because all the pain, she said, I didn't know what love was.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to give that to somebody. She said, I buy my daughter everything, but I stripped her off all the time. I didn't want her, don't touch me. Till her daughter asked her, like, I don't think you love me. You can't hug me. So she said, she went to therapy to seek out the help. And she said it took like 8 months to going through therapy where she can finally hug her daughter in a loving, not just a
tap on the back,
but a true hug. And that made me think about it so much of just, kids every day who's missing that love, or kids every day who has that love, who parents is putting that out there, but we don't take it because it's just at that time, we teenagers or we young adults, and we just thinking, let us live our life.
You know what? Growing up, I held on to a lot of anger, resentment, and issues around what happened to me, right? Because within those evolution, a lot of things happened to me. A lot with not having that protection around you, and especially as a young girl. But one of the things that we have to start pushing on each other as a collective is that that pain, that hurt will be there, because you're human. You have to digest it. It's hard to digest a lot of things that happen to you that you didn't have any control over. Whenever you're not in control, you have to learn how to digest the happenings around that. But at the same time, people only do what they know.
Yeah. Yep.
And we have to push that as a collective so that we don't have to raise or to encounter so many victims out here. You know what I mean?
100%.
And like I said, I dealt with a lot of days. I literally had anxiety attacks for like 2 fucking years every day. Like, it felt like if you have ever had an anxiety attack, that mug feel like you're having a heart attack. Yeah. Imagine feeling like that in your 20s every day. Yeah. Living out of a room, dealing with the wrong people just because you need a ride somewhere, or you know what I mean? Yeah. So it could get very taxing. But people only do what they know. Yeah. So if you say, oh, well, my dad did this to me, my mom did this to me, that person did that to me, I don't deal with none of them. Well, part of your healing comes into play where you have to have that compassion for them because they only did what they were taught. Yeah. And then that person that did that to them only did what they were taught. Yeah. And then that person that did, you know what I mean? Yeah. As a collective, and I'm saying this as a people, we're dealing with a long line of traumas. Yeah. Everybody, and the crazy part about it is women in general don't realize that we carry that trauma within our bodies. Mm-hmm. So then we give birth to other people. Yep. So we're birthing them with these traumas. Yep. We're birthing them to feel victimized. Everyone is victimized. Yep. And we're so powerful. But yet and still, we sit around and we smoke and drink with each other and we say, oh, yeah, I've been through that too. Oh, yeah, what you been through? Yeah, that's fucked up. Oh, yeah, I've been through that too. Like we having a big powwow about whose trauma is greater.
Trauma. Yeah, who had the greatest trauma. Yeah.
I got the best trauma.
Yeah. I can top that story.
I can top right. So everybody is sitting around sharing all these war stories, ain't getting no fucking check for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to start this was just that, because I feel like people have every day is too many great conversations out there, either it being trauma or just knowledge or just schooling somebody. I feel like it never goes nowhere. And I think, even like with this show, I'm praying and hoping that somebody is listening and kind of getting feedback and kind of helping out what they're going through. Because I think it is just like you said, I think there's a lot of pity parties going on.
Yeah,
and absolutely. I think it's just, but at what point, because I'm asking myself this now as I now have a son and I'm looking at life different. It's like, what am I doing? What have I been doing in my life? For the people that look up to me, for the people that that follow me on social media, the people that I come in contact with, my nephews, my little cousins, and even people that's older than me. What is it that I'm doing?
But see, you're wise though. Yeah. You're wise. You never got a chance to abuse yourself.
I kind of do, because when you said like we make excuses, like for me and my father, like when it came to me and my father, I came to a point. Where there was so much hatred towards him, and it was just even with me knowing his background, I had so much hatred. But I started the process of, David, you got to really think about why you're hating this man. Mm-hmm.
But that's what I mean.
Go through?
That's what I mean by
your
wise. You didn't get stuck in the cycle. Yeah. You see what I mean?
See, and that's a whole nother level of strength. To be able to step back. That's why I don't know if anybody ever saw the movie The Shack. You saw
great movie.
When he went into the cave, it was phenomenal because he went into the cave and was in there with Judgment. And so Judgment was asking him, he showed him a picture of a little boy getting beat. And he was like, oh, let me help him. He said, so since you want to be the judge, come sit in the chair. So he said, the Judgment let him sit in the chair. So the backstory is this guy who daughter was kidnapped and murdered brutally. So he's mad. He's going on this journey with God. So he gets to Judgment, and Judgment is showing him on the screen a little boy getting beat to death. And he was like, "That's terrible. That guy deserves to die. The guy who's beating the kid." He was like, "Well, the kid is the guy who killed your daughter." Mm-hmm. And then he showed another generation. So it's a perpetual thing. And at some point, I believe God lets that someone comes along and absorbs all the generations of hurt, and that person says it stops
It's
here.
enough.
And at some point in every generation, every family, my great grandmother was a single mother of 5 kids, 3 baby daddies, and so you talking about 1800s, 1900s.
Yeah.
3 baby daddies.
Hard
single
life.
mother. That
No
it is
man
what it is.
to take care of.
So
shit
me and
for
my
you.
cousins often talk because there's another line in that family that majority of the women are single mothers. Unconsciously, we did, and not that we set out to be, but our small everyday decisions have led us all to be single mothers. None of us are married. Like, so I began to look at it and say, damn, like I let it happen. You know what I'm saying? Not being conscious, even though I came from a 2-parent household, and my perception as a kid, my mom was there, my dad was there, but I lived on a block of all single mothers. So every kid on the block had more stuff than me. So at 3rd grade, I'm telling you, I can remember thinking this clearly. I ain't never getting married. Because all the kids over here ain't got no daddies, and they got more stuff than me. I got a daddy, and we poor, and I'm busted. So I'm going to go the single mother route. Never thinking, but I was beginning to create my life with my words. And so subconsciously, subconsciously, my decisions began off of the words that I was created. And then at that point, my mother wasn't, she's a great woman. So don't ever, if you see this, you're not in love.
Right.
But the truth is what it is. She wasn't the type of parent that talked to us. You know what I'm saying? You fed us, do your thing, da-da-da-da-da. So I consciously talk to my children because I want to check their thoughts. Because if I talk to you, I'm going to hear what you're thinking, and then I can check it. Nobody was checking my thoughts. Nobody was checking what I was thinking. They just assumed the school didn't call, she ain't pregnant, ain't no boys running in and out of my house, she good. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of under the fly zone. So nobody had to really pay me that much attention because they just assumed Kativa had it. But they also wasn't checking my thinking. Nobody knew how self-esteem and da-da-da-da and all that other stuff. So you have to become the one, I believe, in every generation where you say, that stops here.
Right. So how many girls do you have?
I got 3 girls and 1 boy.
So with the girls that you have, do you instill in them that strength that you had, that, kind of like you don't need a man? Do you instill that in them?
No. So this is the funny thing. That's why I say you got to talk to your kids. My older 2 are girls. They're 7 years apart, though. I think they are, because of their relationships with their dad. Now, my younger 3 has the same dad. My oldest daughter has her own dad. But the top 2, the father thing is a little different. My oldest daughter is very nonchalant, very que sera, sera. If it happened, cool. She and I hate to put her business out there, but she like 20. She 22. She 2 years younger than David. Yeah, she's still a virgin. Don't tell nobody that. But it ain't because nothing I taught her. I can't sit here and say it's just because that's the type of kid she is. She like,
it ain't important.
I don't do drama, and I see all my friends going through it. I'm good. My other
As a
daughter,
young man, I respect that a lot. That says a lot about the character, though. To be that age and you still hold on to it, that says a lot.
And like I said, I don't know if it's the credit of saying she hold on. She don't got time for the BS.
Right, that's what I was about. I wouldn't
the kid
necessarily say she hold on to it. It just ain't important to her. It's
it ain't just like I see my friends go through and she be like, I'm good on all that. My other daughter, she swung the pendulum kind of the other way, almost too far for me, because now she sees me and I'm super strong, and now her mind, I'm good on men, just to be perfectly honest. She almost to that mindset. So I'm constantly trying to pull her into saying that's not the truth.
Right.
The enemy wants to plant certain seeds in your thinking. I know you, you ain't got no man, and look at you. You changing the tire, you getting the brakes done, you cooking dinner, you running da 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 da.
And you also have to say to her, that's not my job, though.
And it wasn't, it wasn't necessarily my choice either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't something that I'm not walking around the house, because I always, even with the situations with their dads, I never bad. So I'm never a man basher, he this, he that, because I never want them to perceive that a husband is not important.
Right.
I want them to know that you don't want to do it like this. Hear what I'm saying.
Right.
Because fathers are very important.
Right.
So that's always been my thing to them. And so the other 2, they kind of my son is kind of like, I'm gonna be a good husband,
Right.
and my youngest daughter is, she's kind of devious, so she needs somebody that's gonna
Right.
take care of her, and she already know that. So that's just her. That's kind of her thing. But I just think in every family you have to, once you get that knowledge, you'll be the one who marries Ryan, and little David may be the one that it stopped with you because
Right.
he'll be able to see mom and dad together,
Trauma-free.
and that'll be he'll be trauma free. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you just it happens in every family, and I think even with every family, there's always at some point somebody says enough is enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Because I think that when a lot of women get disappointed in men and they choose that I don't need a man
Yeah.
route, they just settle for having a kid.
yeah,
Because then that's what defines them.
yeah, yep,
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I say I'm a stylist, so I see a lot of different women, a lot of different walks of life. You know what I mean? And so you got to keep in mind, everything about a woman evolves around her hair. Okay? So if she's going through a divorce, 9 times out of 10, she's coming in the shop to cut her hair off.
off. Yeah, yeah.
If she's
Something traumatic is
you know
gonna
what I
happen.
mean?
Yep.
Right. Something, whatever happens in our life evolves around our appearance.
Yeah.
It evolves around our hair.
Yeah.
So, I see a lot of different walks of life. And I've had issues, and I've had older clients that I know that they're like in their 60s and they had kids, and they say, oh, you ain't had no baby yet, or you ain't did this yet. So they define me a lot by me not having kids. Even though I'm married, they still say, you ain't had no baby yet.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
What you waiting on?
But in my mind, I'm like, you ain't got no husband yet. What's wrong with you? Because I ain't about to be changing no damn tire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the crazy part is, the women in my family was really strong women like that. Some of them even ran their damn husbands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which I kind of got that little bossy gene. Shut up! I see your eyebrows. You know what I mean? But
he likes it. It's apparent that he likes it.
No, but you know what? I
sorry,
also, we so real though that he tells me like, hey, Tony, stick yourself. You're going a little too far. And I be like, all right, my bad. I was just trying to let you know, what's going on. But, a lot of, I think that they just developed such issues with men that they just settled for the children because they had like 3, 4, 5 kids.
Yeah.
Now, you knew after 1 or 2 that evidently you ain't been doing good at this relationship thing with all these different men.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, all of a sudden, you got 5 and 6 kids, but all of them got different daddies.
Yep.
Okay, yep.
But you looking at me like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? And the crazy part is it seems like that a lot of women that comes to me are like kind of in that same boat. Like they're getting older, they really don't have children, and they feel less than because of that. But at the same time, I know I'm kind of getting off topic. I don't know how this happened. This kind of transitioning here. But I know that they feel less than because they don't have children yet. But it takes a hell of a person to be able to catapult their life forward and to make money without the motivation of having to provide for someone else.
Yeah.
So that's actually not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Because in all actuality, I have the option of laying on my ass all day. Of not caring about what's happening because I don't have to worry about nobody else.
Y'all only come 2 miles.
So in order to be a successful person and you don't have kids, to me, I big those women up.
Yeah.
And they put so much stress on themselves
But
because
I think we're in the age that the roles and timing is being redefined.
yeah.
Where it doesn't have to be, years
Well,
ago.
timing on a broad scale. But when it comes down to where we're at daily, it's still very small.
Yeah, but see, my aunt got married 16, 17. My grandmother 17, 18. So it was typical. If you wasn't married by 21, 22, you'd almost old spinster.
You're old spinster.
Yeah, you was on that route.
Yeah.
So now it's 25. Then it became 30. Then we're going to hit 35 in a minute. So it all just depends on what generation and time you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where now we're not putting people in boxes anymore.
Yeah. But I think still, though, it's depending on the demographic.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to where we're at, 7 mile, 8 mile, that kind of defines women now. I'm having a baby shower. Or, all my kids.
And that's
first birthday.
and that's a little bit of accomplishment.
So
like I've not done anything else.
So that's but at the same time,
but
at the same time, if you got 8 girlfriends that's all they talking about, and you trying to start a business, you feel like the lesser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that goes back to the quote he said. You got to get another circle. You got to get a whole nother circle because and that's what they own.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get with other entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
No, look here, y'all. I am loving this show. We got 15 minutes left in the show.
Oh, really? I thought it was almost 8 o'clock. Get out of here.
Right.
I told you.
Rolling. You
Look at me, this show go by so quick. But no, I like it. Anything you got? Anything else y'all want to hit on?
We didn't kind of took over the show. You ain't
right. We didn't talk about all
listen. Because last show, everybody said you didn't talk much. It's just I feel like it's not meant. I told her I don't think it's meant for every show for anybody to talk all show. And I think just between y'all two talking, I think a lot of knowledge came out of it.
Women's issues is always.
And it's just I don't think that because you guys are hitting on the female side and the male perspective too. So you guys are not just being one-sided.
Well,
and I think it helps.
That goes back to the conversation we had yesterday.
Which one?
Well, you were drunk on the way home.
I drive.
So it was this guy I came across on Facebook, and his question, which I told him, I said, I believe that his question was flawed to begin with.
Oh, okay.
So the question was, can you be feminine without being a feminist?
Yeah.
But it's kind of flawed, right?
Yeah, because feminine means I'm just girly, like the way
I'm
I
who
carry
I am.
myself. Yeah.
Right.
That's what she was saying. He went way off.
Everybody
And
just
I don't consider myself a feminist, so.
At all. But this is the thing. So when I was reading all of these different, keep in mind, I'm sitting there drinking, so, I'm really getting deep, off in, my answer. But then I told my husband, I said, because when I typed my answer up there, he laughed at it. And then he said, oh, that's inflated. But, you know what? I had to kind of take my answer back because I realized that I was talking to him on a level that he wasn't really ready for. So my answer to him was, we are feminine by our God-given right. We are that energy regardless.
Mm-hmm.
That's our birthright.
Yeah.
But we are hybrid creatures. We have the ability to access that feminine energy and that masculine energy for whatever life is bringing about at that time. Mm-hmm. But our real strength is being able to not demean the men that we love.
Yeah.
Behind that.
Nah,
think
good.
about every single woman that you would know, right? Just as well as she said, oh, my daughter didn't see me have to change a tire. She didn't see me have to change this and fix that. That's masculine energy. Feminine energy is soft.
And it's interesting to piggyback before Dave go is because as a single mother with 4 kids, the difficult thing about it, and this is to kind of support your point, is I don't get to break down.
Right.
I don't get to melt down and slide down the refrigerator and say, oh, honey's going to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't get to express. So I have to be both. I can't be just a nurturer. So I have to figure out every day, like we were saying earlier, am I going to be the mother nurturer? Or do I have to be the discipline? Yep. You know what I'm saying? And so in some households you have, and it doesn't necessarily be man or female, because in some houses the mom does the whooping or the discipline and dad is it's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you're single, that's why I'll never ascribe to this being God's will for my life. I ascribe to the fact that these are my decisions and God has graced me to get through it. But it never was God's perfect will because I feel out of place. As a woman, I feel out of place as being the head of a house. Because if there's a bump in the night, I got to go check it.
Right.
Or I'm looking, me and my 12-year-old looking at each other like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
You got the phone.
You got the phone. Lock the door. But it's like, so oftentimes I have to, before I respond to something my teenagers do, I have to say, okay, all right, nurturer, disciplinarian, or I always got to constantly mix or figure it out. Instead of me just being able to fall back and say, you better go get your kid, she did this, I'm out of this one. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that luxury of being able to fall back
Right.
And that's what I wish Jen was actually here for this, because that's what Jen was talking about last show when it was just a thing of, so Jen say females no longer don't have that privilege of kind of like AC was talking about, just like back in the older days, 70s and 80s, how men bring home the bacon and women, all they had to do was fry it. And Jen is now, Jen was just stating that, kind of what y'all was saying. Females don't have that option anymore.
Yeah, but there was a lot of black
no
eyes
more.
behind them bacons.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a lot of black
for her,
eyes.
it was just more so of females. We have to be hard.
Yep.
We can no longer just be soft. Now we have to harden ourselves up so much because now daddies are not being here no more. Daddy's not being here, or daddy's dealing with daddy issues. So now I gotta be a mom. On top of that, I also gotta cater to my husband or my boyfriend who going through daddy issues. So I gotta soften you up, and just saying how it's so much pressure now on females when it comes to just everyday life as a single mother, or even if you're married and it's just a thing of I'm taking care of the kid, I'm taking care of the household, and I gotta take care of you as a man because you're going through your issues.
Which is one of the reasons why I literally have no desire to be married. And it's not necessarily because of the fear of the kids and all of that. I don't have capacity for nobody else's needs. Like
That's real, though.
like getting my kids through the day to day. I don't bring I'm conscious enough to know that if a husband came into the picture, he's going to come with needs. So unless he's coming
He's
in
gonna
taking
be first.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't make him first.
No. And so because I ascribe to that philosophy, I believe that he's the head and da 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 da. But if he don't come in like straight up on some real and like I'm taking all of this off of you, he can't. I can't come in having to cater to nobody else, and I don't have that capacity. So it's not a thing of, I don't want to be married. It's just I know mentally I don't have a capacity for not nagging another person. Unless he coming in saying, you don't have to work, I just want dinner done every day. Then, all right. But it can't come in talking about you at Walmart and we just splitting the bills. No, dog, that's not, that ain't enough of a burden lifter for me. To have to deal with somebody, because he's going to have some type of requirement.
Right.
She a little thug. No, dog, that ain't it.
I was trying to keep that part, contained.
You all right?
I grew up in the township.
Nah,
Yeah.
dog, you good.
That ain't going. That ain't gonna work. Yeah, I grew up in the township. Nah.
But no,
8 Mile, Wyoming.
It's funny. I actually heard that at a funeral. People at funerals, they actually shout township.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, I actually heard
Really?
at a funeral. Yeah,
Somebody
well,
shouts township?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, we did. When it was.
It had a
That
powerful,
shit crazy.
it had a powerful message
What's
behind
the,
it, but it was
what's
just
the
funny
hand
hearing it.
signs?
I don't know what that one is.
Township.
Township.
I don't remember.
Y'all be township.
And but no, so
We went to Oak Park, so it
We
was
had
always
the
township.
township.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know.
There you go.
That was township.
But no, overall, first I want to thank you guys for being here. For those who
Thank you
wasn't
for
here,
having us.
Thank
no
you.
problem. Who wasn't here
Appreciate it,
when we started, can you guys just say a prayer for Jennifer's grandmother? That's why she's not here. She's in the hospital. AC is out doing some great things with his father, doing some son and father bonding time. So that right there is
They
good.
drinking for sure.
Right there is good. But no, this show right here, I like it, you guys. Once again, the door's open for all other guests. And it's just, it's kind of what it is, like kind of Kativa said, they kind of took over the show, but it's fine. Because I think it's,
That's what happened with 2 women.
no,
Those women for
No,
No,
that's-
that's what happens behind experience.
Yes.
Yeah, that right there is that. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can bring Jose back on with all guys, and we can,
Be boring as hell.
They'll never be
guy.
born. This
No,
was
we
an
gonna be
in-depth, deep
First of all,
conversation.
don't nobody want to sit here and look at 3 penises
Listen,
on camera.
look here.
Yeah, that was you the only one thinking about it, boy.
I thought you were about to say 3 ugly men or something
that
like
whole
that.
broadcast would
She
be all
went
Well,
there,
I was
boy.
going to say dicks. Okay. I
Whole
was gonna
broadcast
say
She
would
went
be all
right
with
there.
it with this one on the screen.
Don't
You
nobody
know
want
what
to
it
look at
is.
y'all ugly self,
I
okay?
look
God's
good.
gift to
Bald-
women.
bald
Y'all
and
better
all.
keep
Ball
these
and all.
experienced women on your show.
But
This is
no,
God's
sure.
gift,
But this is what it's about.
Fine as I am. What?
This is what it's about, you guys. It's not scripted, you guys. It's just raw and cut. We just come in, get to talking, and we just kind of let the conversation go. So I think this right here is good. Well, I know for sure when I go back and re-look over the show, start taking some more notes for our next show. Excuse me. I know for sure we're going to be good. Next show we will. AC and Jennifer will be back on the show. So if you guys want to come on, please reach out. Our next show is April 21st. That is 2 Sundays from now, April 21st. We will be popping in, popping out. We're trying to get some dates together. So anybody who owns a business or doing some kind of event or know of an event, and we want to come out to you guys' events and talk live with the public. We don't have to be in the studio all the time. We for sure want to come out. Speaking of businesses and events, we got a power couple here who got their own hot sauce going on. Y'all want to talk about that?
Everybody go to conjosflavors.com. CONJO flavors.com. We have
that good sauce.
Yes, you will love it. It's not too for all you people. I don't eat hot sauce. It's not too hot to where it'll overpower your food. It's a great compliment. A lot of people have used it in their own recipes: chili, sauces, marinades, you name it.
Lasagna.
I marinate mine. I for sure use it to marinate. I for sure use it to marinate for sure. Connie's also a stylist for everybody.
Yes.
Sweet.
Everyone, please, you can go to Connie the Stylist on Facebook. We also just started our own team at Tropical Fairy. We have 2 great nail techs, another awesome stylist. We are a small group we're doing our thing. We're starting out. So you guys, please go on there, check us out. Also, keep up on luxolux.com, LuxoLuxe.com. Yes, that is it. Because I will be uploading the new profiles for all of the new stylists. The nail techs, they are the bomb, okay? Like, you won't get nothing better. So keep us in mind.
All right. No Limit Podcast. We do not have merchandise out for sale. We have our No Limit cups that we have out for sale for $10. And we have our No Limit t-shirts. You can get them in any color. I'll post a picture of the t-shirt on the website.
Also, Tropical Fairy is an official carrier of the No Limit cups and t-shirts. So let us know if you want to come by to grab one.
Here we go.
Sweet.
And the cups go for $10. Shirts go for $20. Once again, I want to thank you guys for y'all support. Thank you guys for the likes, the shares, the comments, and just watching us, y'all, taking time out y'all Sunday while y'all get prepared for y'all week. I want to thank my guests on the show, Kativa, Jose, and Connie. Thank y'all so much for coming out and sharing, putting y'all life out there on the front lines.
Awesome.
No problem with that, man.
So once again, you guys, the doors always open. You guys, April 21st is our next show. Like I said, we are looking for sponsorships, and we're looking for people to invite us out to events, so we come out there and do a live broadcast at y'all events and talk about it. And these events is for anything. If you're doing a fun, I know they do like the Coach for Kids every year. So if you're doing something like that, I do know for sure this summer I want to get downtown, set up some booths and some spots downtown this summer, interact with the public. If you want to come on the show, or you want to promote your business, you want to promote your music, we for sure want you to come on the show, so we get this stuff going and just kind of talk with you and just have these open discussions, y'all. This is what it's about. I know for sure 1 month, me and my 2 co-hosts, we're going to get deeper into our lives and kind of really hit on a lot of things. But this is a show about you guys. You come over and have fun. We come over and, talk about some real life deep things just to help people out. But the show is literally what it's called, No Limit Podcast. Never limit your challenges, challenge your limits, you guys. So I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in.
See you, Joe. I got pee-pee.